Happy holidays from Deepwood Museum and Gardens. I'd love to welcome you to Deepwood today. Since you can't come here to the home itself, I'd like to share a video with you that we were pleased to have recorded last year. In the video, you're going to learn a little bit about the traditions of the Victorian holiday season, and you're also going to see the beauty of the rooms throughout the home decorated for the holiday season. Typically, you'd be enjoying a tree in every home at Deepwood, you'd be enjoying music from our historic player piano, and you'd be seeing volunteers throughout the home dressed in Victorian finery. We look forward to welcoming you for that celebration again in 2021. I hope that you enjoy this video, and we look forward to seeing you in the future at Deepwood Museum and Gardens.
For Christmas, we really bring the Victorian back to the main floor because most of our Victorian customs became our customs that we still have today. Christmas cards came from the Victorian era, and the penny post allowed for beautiful Christmas postcards to be sent for a penny, don't we wish? And we have postcards throughout the house. We also have many trees on display and have all of the greenery that the Victorians would have brought in, and just really try to recreate those beautiful traditions. Victorians were really clued into the natural world, and they often set their houses on their lots according to the way the sun came and went. So that side of our house gets the morning sun, this gets the afternoon sun, so having the dining room here would be perfect. And we have beautiful stained glass all through the house that all came from the Portland, Oregon firm of Povey Brothers. And they were considered the Tiffany's of the West because of their beautiful designs and their use of color. And we have all of our original stained glass still in place in the house. Welcome to our Victorian dining room at Deepwood, and our table is set today not quite in the authentic Victorian way, because in Victorian times a white damask cloth would have been on every table. Our lace with the red underlay came a bit later, but it's so festive. So the table is set with tea leaf pattern iron stoneware that was the Port family china pattern, and the Ports were the people who built Deepwood in 1894. It's an ironstone that comes from Great Britain, and it had several different manufacturers, and each manufacturer had a slightly different pattern of tea leaf. So as you look at the different pieces, you might see some variations. We've got some beautiful Victorian silver on the table, including our butter, which is so clever because it's got a reservoir here for ice chips. Your butter would sit here and stay cold and not melt over your long dinner time. And the lovely lid is on a little hook, so when you're done, you can cover your butter up. And it comes with its own very special master butter knife on this side in the holder. Every Victorian table would have had the most gorgeous centerpiece that you could imagine, and right now we've got our lovely shiny Christmas balls. And bringing in berries and other things from the garden was very typically Victorian because they really used nature to decorate their homes. We have Christmas crackers on the table, which is a British thing. One of the British confectioners, Thomas Smith, went from Great Britain to France and saw the little bonbons that the French had put in a twist of paper. So we've got the twist. And he came home and thought, I can do better. So he put a little cylinder filled with Christmas goodies and twisted the ends. And he still wasn't happy. And one night he was sitting by a crackling fire, and he got the bright idea that he could put just a touch of gunpowder in each one so that when you pull the Christmas cracker apart, it pops. And so the Christmas cracker became part of both British and American Victorian feasts. Queen Victoria was really responsible for much of what we celebrate at Christmas time, because when she married Albert, he was German and brought the German Christmas tree to Great Britain. And when the periodicals put pictures of the royal family around their tree, then suddenly everybody wanted a Christmas tree. A nobleman who got tired of writing Christmas notes hired an artist to design a Christmas card in 1843, and that began the Christmas card craze. And then St. Nicholas got into part of it through Clement Moore, who was an American who wrote The Night Before Christmas. And that started the jolly old St. Nick, and St. Nick went from the more stern, thin Victorian Christmas Santa in 1890s when Thomas Nast made the jolly, fat, red-wearing St. Nicholas for the newspapers. So much of what we do comes from this beautiful era that we are representing here at the house. Children love Deepwood because it was a house that had children in it. Our second owners, the Binghams, had a daughter named Alice who grew up in the house, got married in the house, and started our tradition of weddings. And we just had a heritage talk this fall where two of her grandsons came and talked, and they spoke about how during holiday meals they were not allowed to sit at the dining room table, but had their own little table in the kitchen, which is really small, and so the kids were kind of shoved aside, but they still enjoyed coming here, and Mrs. Brown had toys for them. And then our final owners, Mr. and Mrs. Brown, had two boys, Werner and Chandler, who grew up in the house. Almost always, Victorians, especially young ladies, would learn the decorative arts, which would include music. And so piano playing, violin playing, other instruments were very common, and frequently the back parlor was also the music room, which ours is. We have our player piano back there, and our music tree. Upstairs we have a euphonia, which is a disc music box, and the round metal discs have little holes, and the musical tines come up underneath, and there's a roller bar that puts enough pressure on the plate so that those little holes plunk the tines, and you wind it up and music plays, and it's lovely. I love the history, I love the hospitality that it represents, and I love the antiques. It reminds me of some of the things I've inherited from my grandmother and great-grandmother, and it just brings back an era where families were closer, they weren't separated by electronics, and you did things like children made paper ornaments for the trees, and it was a family affair, and really enjoyed that time together. And I love bringing that back to people.
Learn more about Deepwood Museum and Gardens at deepwoodmuseum.org.